Hey everyone, happy Spooktober! In today's video, I'm going to be bringing the spoops to you for the Halloween season. I'm going to teach you all the ways to play games with demons. This is part 3 of a 6-part series, so please watch the first and second part if you haven't. And I'll be playing one of the games as well, and not just any one, but the most dangerous one. So hit that like and subscribe to see me play a dangerous game. Alright, let's get into this. The bath game, known as Daruma San. It's an old game from Japan, where the player will summon a spirit entity from a bathtub. Playing this game is said to be quite dangerous, with the worst end result being death. The entity you summon appears as a ghostly figure that will follow you all day. She wears tattered and stained white clothes with long black hair. She has only one eye, her left eye is wide open and bloodshot. Her right eye is missing, leaving a bloody, hollow eye socket. The instructions are simple, and all you'll need is a bathtub. At night, before you go to bed, take off all your clothes, enter the bathroom, fill up the bathtub, and turn on all the lights. Sit in the middle of the bathtub while facing the faucet. Close your eyes and wash your hair. As you wash your hair, you should repeat these words. Daruma San fell down. Daruma San fell down. Do not stop repeating this until you finish washing your hair. Your eyes must remain shut. As you wash your hair, you will picture a Japanese woman standing in the bathtub. She will slip and fall onto a rusty tap, gouging her eye out and killing her. You will hear a sound coming from behind you, or feel movement in the bathtub. Do not turn around or peek. You have finally summoned the ghost. You will feel her presence as she emerges out of the bathtub. Ask out loud, "Why did he fall in the bathtub?" You can now get out of the bathtub, and make sure your eyes remain shut. Make sure not to slip or trip as you get out of the bathtub. Do not drain the water until the next morning. Shut the door behind you. It is now safe to open your eyes. Keep the water in the bathtub until morning, and do not turn on any lights, then go to bed. The next day, she should be following you. You may catch a glimpse of her from behind. You cannot allow her to get close. To end the game, you must catch a glimpse of her and shout "Kita," which means I cut you loose, while swinging your arm in a chopping motion. The game will end and the one-eyed woman will not follow you anymore. Warnings to remember. Do not open your eyes when the ghost first appears. Do not let the one-eyed woman trip you when you leave the bathtub, and do not re-enter the bathroom after you leave it. Do not drain the bath until morning, and do not let her catch you. This game is very dangerous. Be careful when exiting the bathtub, as it is said that the player can die to the force of the entity when exiting, so do not lose your footing, and proceed with caution. In some cultures, cameras have a history of being believed to be able to capture souls, and mirrors have been used as a tool to contact spirits and other entities. And in many cultures, mirrors are believed to be a portal between worlds. Well, the picture game combines these two, cameras and mirrors, in order to capture a spirit on film. The concept is really creepy, and it reminds me of the horror game Fatal Frame, where you use your camera as a defense weapon to capture the souls of malicious spirits. The picture game's origins are unknown, making it quite mysterious. To play this game, you'll need at least 2 people, but the more people, the better. You'll need string or rope. It should be long enough to make a circle with the ends knotted together. Scissors or a knife, a small-sized mirror per person playing, and a camera with flash capabilities. Do not use a camera phone. A drinking glass, a beverage, wine is recommended, but it's preferred to be alcoholic, and a quiet room. The game begins at midnight. Form the string or rope into a circle and knot the ends together. Place the drinking glass in the middle of the rope circle and fill it with the beverage. Arrange the players in a circle by seating them around the outside of the rope circle. A word of warning: do not at any point step inside the rope circle. Each player must place their mirror in front of them, with the reflective part pointed toward the ceiling. Now turn off the lights and the game begins. The players will close their eyes and hold hands, and one after another, each person will say individually, "I trust you." After this, then in unison, everyone will say 3 times, "The door is open, please come in." Then everyone will open their eyes. One player will take the camera and say aloud, "I caught you." Then point the camera forward toward the middle of the circle and take 1 picture. They will pass the camera to the next player. Do not look at the picture taken. Then they will do the same. Say aloud, "I caught you," and take a picture toward the middle of the circle. Repeat this around the circle until every player has taken a photo. If at any point a player feels nauseous or has an overwhelming sense of sadness and cries, do not allow them to take a photo. Skip them and pass the camera to the next player. The camera must be passed around the circle 3 times and then placed down. To end the game, all players must close their eyes and repeat 3 times in unison, "It's time to go home." Each player will turn their mirror upside down, turn on the lights, use scissors or a knife to cut the rope. Remove the drinking glass and empty it into dirt or grass. Now review the photos taken, and you just may see something there. A few warnings. Do not continue the game if one player begins acting in a weird manner, if their behavior becomes uncharacteristic, or if any player begins to feel frightened. If at any point you must abort the game, place the camera down and begin following the steps to end the game. If the player that begins to act differently or feel fear has taken a picture, do not look at that picture, end the game and destroy the camera. You have been warned. Sara Sarita. It's a dangerous game that is unlike many others, as in, you may never be able to end the game. Originating in Mexico, this game led to a number of children needing psychiatric help, and others were placed in mental asylums because they didn't end the game properly. Some reported having received permission to end the game by the entities they summoned, only to find out days later that the game had not come to an end. The purpose of this game is to summon a dark entity. Some have reported it as 2 entities presenting themselves as sisters, and you ask them only yes or no questions, but be wary of their answers, as they may be questionable. Sara Sarita is believed to be a dark entity, or possibly 2 dark entities, but there is another legend, and the story is as follows. There were 2 young girls who went to school in Mexico, one named Sara and the other Sarita. They were twin sisters and they were very close. Both of them wore a matching coin on a chain around their neck. The girls would sometimes have to stay after school for cheerleading practice. One day the girls stayed behind after school, but they didn't realize that practice had been canceled. The janitor who worked at the school took notice of the girls. When he saw one of the girls going into the bathroom on her own, he followed her. Inside, he attacked her and abused her horribly before strangling her to death. When her sister became worried and went to see what happened to her twin, she found the janitor standing over her sister's murdered body. He attacked her too, and she grabbed the shovel that was there and hit him in the head. She kept hitting him until she thought she had killed him. However, when she turned to go for help, he grabbed her and stuffed her head in the water tank, drowning her. He tied a rope around the neck of the other girl and hung her on the bathroom door. When their bodies were found and the police were called, they thought the girls had gotten into an argument and killed each other. The case was closed and it was dismissed as a murder-suicide. At the time, the girls' broken chains were found on the floor and the 2 coins were lying there. One coin was heads and the other was tails. The janitor was never caught for his crime, and soon afterwards he moved away and no one ever heard from him again. To begin this game, you'll need at least 2 players. 2 coins for each player, and the coin must be of the same value. You can begin this game at any time. Both players will sit on the ground facing each other and will say in unison aloud, "Sara Sarita, may I enter your game?" Each player will throw their coin gently over their shoulder. If the coin lands on heads, permission has been granted and you may continue the game. If both coins are on tails, you do not have permission and you may not proceed. You can try again, but if it's tails again, do not continue and try another day. If one coin is heads and the other tails, proceed with caution. Once permission is granted, begin asking only yes or no questions, beginning each question with Sara Sarita. After each question, both players will throw the coin gently over their shoulder. If both coins are on heads, the answer is yes. If both are tails, it is no. And if one is heads and the other is tails, the answer is maybe. To end the game, both players will speak in unison, saying aloud, "Sara Sarita, may I leave your game?" Again, both coins on heads is yes, and you may end the game. Both on tails is no, and you must ask again. And if one is tails and the other is heads, you do not have permission and you have to ask again. Do not exit the game until you receive permission. Another word of warning comes from a girl whose sister played this game. She stated, "My sister came home from school and told me she was frightened. When I asked why, she told me it was because of a game that kids in her school were playing. She said it's called Sara Sarita and it's played with 2 coins. I got curious and my first thought was the game was not good. She said when they asked the question, 'Can I stop playing?' Sara and Sarita replied no, and the kids just ended the game without throwing away the coins. My sister warned them, but they ignored her. That night, one of the kids that played was in bed and his dog was barking and barking. The next day, they found the dog dead. My sister is frightened by not knowing what can happen. You do not know whether Sara and Sarita will visit you, and I think bad things will happen if you abandon the game without closing it. My sister and I are scared. So keep the coins in a safe place and never spend them. And make sure you don't lose them while playing the game, as they are your only way to exit the game, so play somewhere safe. You must follow the rules exactly, do not change anything. If hours or days after you find certain things to be off, and you'll have a sense of knowing something is different about your environment. Maybe it's the atmosphere, maybe you feel as though someone is watching you. You may catch figures or shadows out of the corner of your eye, and you may even hear whispers. Then you're still in the game, even if you have received permission. This is a dark entity, so it can be deceiving. You should then ask aloud, "Sara Sarita, am I still in your game?" and toss the coin over your shoulder. And well, I'm sure you know what side the coin will land on. Well, that's it for now. Remember, I'll be playing the most dangerous game with demons in the series, so keep watching this series to see that. Thank you so much for watching, and stay spooky, everyone.